We were able to go to the homeless people in the streets of Long Beach and feed them and hold rallies for them and just let them know that we care. And we're not just in these classrooms, which are these four walls, but that we can really be compassionate. And that's what I used that time for. But it affected my whole life in terms of my relationships, because when you're brutalized at a very young age, you go into a very mistrusting place. You say to yourself, everyone is out to get me, and the whole world, it's me against the world kind of a mentality.
Yeah.
To break through that, I learned perhaps the most important lesson in my life, and that was that this pain and this joy, and we've spoken of this as well, that our pain and our joy are two children that we give birth to through the experiences of our life. And if we say to our joy, the child of our joy, we say to it, I love you and you're beautiful and I want to clone you and share you with my friends at parties and give you away as decoration in the special places in my life. And then we say to our pain child, or the experience of our pain, we say, you're ugly and I hate you, and the same things my mother said to me. I wish you were never born and leave me, and I don't want to see your face. Then what happens to that pain child is much the same as what happened to me as a child, which is you go inward and you say, you become bitter, you become insecure, you become fearful. So to begin at a very early age with those kinds of traumas, I began to see them as a challenge rather than an inconvenience, rather than a tragedy. I began to see all of that ugliness as a challenge to overcome. That is to say to myself, no matter how bad things get in life, no matter how much it hurts, you never give up, and you always seek expansion. And that has been the philosophy of every relationship that I've been in, and whether it be a romantic one or interpersonal one or a familial one, that I want the kind of relationships in my life that last for the rest of my life. I'm not interested in fly-by-night connections where we treat each other like decorations or extras in the movie of our own life. I want to connect with people. I want to grab them by their hand and say, we're here together in this moment. The world is waiting for this generation to do something that no other generation has ever done. And for me, that's something that can't be lived without, this desire. I wake up in the morning with an overwhelming passion to inspire people. And oftentimes in my romantic relationships, that becomes tricky because they say, well, you just want to go inspire the world, and why aren't you here? And so I'm still struggling with that part of my life on how can I evolve and be there, because you want to, when you have a family, and I'm not ready for that yet, but when I do, I want to be everything that my family wasn't. I want to be available. I want to be caring and nurturing and give the child a real chance. And for my beloved, I want to be that as well. But in this moment in my life, if you were to ask me, my answer would be that I'm in love with God. I'm in love with Spirit, or quote-unquote God. People hear that word and they get kind of freaked out, you know. But I'm in love with life and with every moment. I call it my second innocence, because in watching my brother die, I lost my first innocence, which was really an innocence based in not knowing. But the second innocence, the one I'm feeling now, which is this refascination with you, with every being on the planet, with every moment, it's coming from a knowing. And the knowing is, yes, the world is ugly and brutal, and yes, we've been given a really horrible place to exist in some ways. If you were in a refugee camp, for instance, you would know that. Yeah. But no, we're not responsible for the world we've been given so much as we are responsible for the world that we leave behind. And I began to see through this brutality that each moment is a chance, because once you've lost everything, you're free to be anything. And I felt that I lost everything at the age of 8, and which really liberated me from having to fit in, as evidenced by my appearance today. And, but I did go for a while through a phase of really feeling angry and hurt and broken, and like anyone would, feeling shattered. But I realized in the breaking of my heart that it had only been broken open. Yeah. Broken open.
Yeah. Yeah. And I found out something that the staff that you walk with is because people can get a certain impression.
Right.
You were telling me that the staff is from something that happened to you.
That's right.
In your life. What happened?
In 2000, I was in San Diego, California. It was my senior year in college, and I had a motorcycle accident. And with myself and my then beloved, We were involved in this really brutal accident on Harbor Freeway in San Diego. And as a result of that accident and several reoccurring injuries after that, I developed a series of herniations in my lower back and my mid-back, preventing me from ambulation at times, having me confined to a wheelchair for a while. Really coming to a place where my whole thought, I'd never been to the hospital in my life before this, except having been born, of course, but no physical injuries of any kind that I could think of other than the brutality of being beaten as a child. But this was different because I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
Suddenly I could not walk, and that changes one's life when you think, I have no use of my legs. And in the Cherokee tradition, in the Native American tradition, my grandmother always taught me that you make medicine, and medicine for a native is just power, it's just essence. She said, what do you want? I said, I want to get better, I want to walk again. She said, well, you make a medicine staff. I said, a medicine staff? And she taught me that if I created a staff that embodied what I want to do, and that was to walk again. And how did I want to walk? I wanted to walk in spirit, that I could create a staff that really acknowledged that, and that would be my medicine staff. So I created my very first staff, which is the one I have with me today. I have about 10 of them now. And it was the eagle staff. And I walked with that, and I created it with this sense that, because eagle is the visionary, eagle is the spirit. And my thought was that if I'm going to begin to walk a new life again, because I felt like my old life had been broken at that point, I'm going to begin to walk a life that is sacred, a life that expresses that I see the holiness in each being, the Dalai Lama in each person, as it were. And that staff began to give me the power to move my legs again, to begin to move my body, and then suddenly I could walk again. And then suddenly I wasn't in the wheelchair anymore, and it was just miraculous for me to be able to have that. The problem isn't completely gone. It's still there. It still persists. So I still carry the staff. And it's also a beautiful reminder with each step to walk in spirit. And I know that oftentimes people see me on the street and you say, who is this crazy guy walking with a staff, wearing a sarong? And I would say, only have compassion on me for being myself, and know that you are beautiful just as you are as well. But oftentimes people mistake the staff for a form of ego, whereas really it's just a form of spirit and a way to heal from a shatterment, from being broken, as it were, physically.
Yeah.
And I would encourage anyone in this moment feeling pain in your own body, whether it be emotional or physical, if you've been broken in some way, do not give up. Don't let the fear of the moment overwhelm you. Know that it's going to be okay. Just tell yourself, no matter how bad it seems, it's all right. And give yourself permission. Begin to create medicine. Begin to create power. Begin to envision yourself getting better, and that will be the reality for you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a wonderful reminder how not to ever judge from appearances. Things are never what they appear. And I mean, in the past few days, getting to know you more, I'm seeing this whole other incredible human being that is just wonderful. Not that you, I mean, I always thought you were wonderful, through your poetry and everything, but just another aspect, another dimension.
Well, I'm very aware. It's not uncommon for me to walk into places and just have everybody look at me, and in that moment I'm very aware that it's our tendency in society to judge one another, and I'm okay with that. I can receive judgments. I can have people come up to me and tell me brutal things and just say right back to them, I love you and you're beautiful, and that's all right. I give people permission to have their prejudices in whatever form they choose to have them, but I encourage each being to allow us to begin to create a world where it's okay for people to just be themselves. And for us to, instead of looking at people, if we can really look at people, and instead of right away going, oh this and oh that, we can just say, instead we can say, wow, there's a beautiful being who is really just a reflection of myself, because as you and I talked about, and as I learned in getting this master's degree, that really 99% of what we think, say, and feel about other people is really just a reflection of ourselves.